Somebody on AZ Billiards mentioned that if you want to work on your stroke, it's a good idea to look at where your tip ends up after you complete the stroke, and you want to be sure that that tip stays on the shot line. I'd made the comment that maybe for more advanced players this isn't such a good technique because you tend to make sure the tip ends up on that shot line whether you want to or not. And for those of you who don't do any video analysis or slow motion analysis, you might find this interesting. So here's a stroke I would consider a kind of a flawed stroke, but in real time it looks pretty good. So here's the stroke in normal speed. Okay, and that wasn't such a bad shot because the cue ball followed the object ball all the way into the pocket from a full table length. One more time. Okay, so what do we actually see about this shot that's interesting? The shot, if you see the cue is right on the red line, which is on the straight in shot line. As I go forward, you see it stays pretty good right on that line. And this is the part I wanted to mention. You see the time clock in the green box over there. What that represents is the amount of time that the cue is offline. Meaning, well, let me just show you. I advance it forward, the stick is on the red line. The cue is, I've already hit the shot. Cue ball's already leaving. And at this point, now the stick goes offline. You can see it's offline, and now right here, I've managed to get it back online. So it's really roughly a quarter of a second is the only time that the cue is offline. So that quarter of a second, right from here, you can see I made that tip go on the shot line. So it's not something you can really control. It just happens. So if you look at it one more time in real time, then you can see it at that point. So anyway, that's all I wanted to show. I just thought it was interesting. I personally think it does matter what happens to the tip after you contact the cue ball, because there's something wrong in your stroke if that's happening. And if it can happen just after contact with the cue ball, I think it can happen just before as well, especially when you have maybe a little stressful situation or when you're hitting the ball harder, things like that. So anyway, I thought some of you might find that interesting.